SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
State Treasurer David McRae has put hundreds of millions back into the hands of Mississippi's citizens, expanding the state's affordable college and career savings program and also returning record amounts of unclaimed money. Check out how Treasurer David McRae's office can help you, your business, or your organization. Treasury.ms.gov.
The mission of Palmer Home for Children, at its core, people looked and saw children who needed a place to call home. And so today, we're responding to that same original mission.
This the light of mine, and I'm gonna let it shine.
You're listening to the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome to help rescue and restore a child in need.
Good morning and welcome to the annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon on SuperTalk Mississippi. I'm Richard Cross. Lance is in the studio. This is Mornings with Richard Cross, but a special day today. From right now until 6 o'clock this evening, we will be broadcasting live from the campus of Palmer Home for Children here in Northwest Mississippi, and we are glad to be with you. You know that this is a special day. It's the 13th consecutive year that we have been on site for the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon, and I don't think the feeling is any different today than it was 13 years ago when we began this. This is all about raising money and raising awareness and helping you understand about the great things that are happening here at Palmer Home for Children. I'll give you a couple of numbers as we get started, because today is about telling stories, but it is also about connecting with you, and it's also about you making donations for what is happening here. There are several ways that you can give today. You can text the word SuperTalk to 50155 with the amount of your donation. Again, it's SuperTalk to 50155 if you want to make a donation today. You can give us a call. And the number to talk to someone live and make a donation over the phone is 662-469-5533. 662-469-5533. You can go to our website, supertalk.fm/PalmerHome, if you want to make an online donation there. And we've tried to make it really, really convenient. If you are a parent who has babysitters, if you are a guy who plays golf, perhaps the way that you settle friendly wagers at the end of the day is through Venmo. If you've got the Venmo app and you want to donate directly with Venmo, you can do that at Palmer Home-4Children, at Palmer Home-4Children. We will be reminding you about all the ways that you can donate throughout the course of the day today, as we want to continue to encourage you to do that. But as I said, we want to tell you stories, and we want to connect you with the people who make things happen here on a daily basis. And one of those people is with me as we start things off this morning. Whit Lewis joins us. He is the Director of Community Partnerships here at Palmer Home for Children. And as he has done in years past, he's hitting leadoff. I don't know if that means that you drew the short straw, or this is you're an early riser and you want to get out of the gates fast.
Well, it's really when they say, hey, we're looking at the roster and their speaking engagements and all, and I said, when would you like to go? And I said, well, just put me wherever you need. And that seems to be the 6:05 kickoff is whenever the need is always there. But I always enjoy it, always enjoy this day, and super grateful for, again, Super Talk.
Well, I appreciate you getting up early with us as we get things started on this Thursday morning, the 10th of July. And it's an altogether different day for us on the radio, but it's certainly a special day. Community partnerships, that feels like something that could be very broad in terms of what falls onto your plate on a daily basis. Tell us a little bit about your role.
So we began thinking about Palmer Home for Children, and I listened just to a few minutes ago as we opened up, and the little commercial, and really the reminder of Palmer Home is that people have always been the lead of this ministry, meaning that people saw a need, in this case, church. The churches, back in 1895, post-Civil War, in a day of really having children that were in need, And the church led the way to create an opportunity to provide care and to love and to promote a path forward to children. And so this community partnerships is really this continued understanding that we can't do what we do, which is provide care for children, to provide hope and a home, help and healing. We can't do what we do without partnerships of individuals, without partnerships of churches, without partnerships of businesses, without just partnerships of people coming alongside of us and saying, look, I may not can do exactly what you do or what someone else is doing, but I can do something. And so I have a team, and what our goal is just to continue to provide those partnership opportunities of that we need you to come alongside, and we need you to just help tote the load with us, to be a part of what we're doing. And people may not see it, others may not see it, but God does, and you get to be a part of a life of a child and help point in a direction of hope and healing. So that's what really a broad view of partnerships is all about.
So when I hear about churches and their involvement with organizations, most churches, maybe all churches, have areas of focus that they describe as mission.
Sure.
And sometimes that's overseas, sometimes that's in the local community, sometimes that's organizations within their states. And those relationships, hopefully their partnerships, take lots of different forms. Sometimes it's as simple as there is a check or a bank account deduction that happens on a monthly basis. But sometimes those partnerships, relationships become more ingrained.
Absolutely.
How do you make that happen here?
And it continues to go back to what we talked about just a few moments ago, is relationships. So many of the churches that we partner with or that support with Palmer Home have been supporting with us 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Some have just began their first year or second year. And so we began that understanding of, hey, you're a missional mindset, particularly with a church, right? I mean, there's a reason that the church got started, is that we want to impact people. We want to impact our community. We want to be a part of a transformational type work.
Right.
And that's why you've already had that in there. And so this is what we're doing. And so we want you to come alongside, and we want you to be a part of that. And sometimes that is, like we said, giving. We call it time, talents, or treasures.
Right.
To invest your time, talent, or treasures. And everybody's got something that they can do. Just like within the church, you've got teachers, you've got preachers, you've got hospitality, you've got servants, you've got all sorts within the church that make up a body. Extend that in the same way as we have churches that give. We have churches that come and help clean and serve. We have churches that will be a part of just feeding house parents that they're serving different ways. And so all of the different ways help make an opportunity. Not only for that is, I pastored for 20 plus years in churches. And what I began to notice is that when our people were serving, and when our people were giving of themselves, and when our people were seeing a picture that's bigger than them or involved in something bigger than them, they were growing in their own spiritual walk.
Yeah.
And then it strengthened our church. So our church became stronger and more healthy because they were serving.
When people are engaged,
sure,
whatever the organization is, but specifically within a church community, when you're engaged within your church community, it feels like it turns into not just something that you're giving, but it's almost like you're receiving more also.
Scripture even tells us it is more blessed to give than to receive. And oftentimes we, really don't understand that just at a casual reading, but it's when, I think about the mission trips that I've been on and thinking that I'm going to go help this missionary. We're going to go help this impoverished type area. But what happens is that when I go serve and when I kind of get away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and I just pour out of living out my faith, right, and just, Christ that is in me, living that out, then I am the one that is blessed. I am the one that God is working on. I am the one that is strengthened. When I think I'm going to be a blessing, I'm the one that receives the blessing. And so that's the same that we want to do with Palmer Home.
Lots of ways that you can give throughout the course of the day today. You can give us a call at 662-469-5533. You can go online to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome or text SuperTalk to 50100. 155. Just some of the ways, and certainly we want to hear from you. Our normal way of communication, the C Spire text line is open. We'll be monitoring that throughout the course of the day, 601-879-4395. From a practical standpoint, if there are churches out there, if there are pastors or deacons or shepherds that are listening this morning and they say, you know what, we want to learn more about what's going on at Palmer Home because maybe we want to expand our mission or we're looking for a redirection with some of the work we're doing, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
So the best way is, most importantly, we just say call most people are going to look up online, palmerhome.org, or to call our office. But you can send me an email at wlewis@palmerhome.org. I would love to come to you. That's part of my role, is to be that liaison, that advocate of helping churches and Palmer Home, create clear pathways for caring for the vulnerable in our community. So I will come to you. I will meet with you one-on-one or with a group. We'll have you come here, maybe do a campus tour to see what we're doing. And as my granddaddy said, to let you sort of smell the gunpowder and to kind of see exactly what all is happening. Because we can talk about it,
sure,
but when you see it, it's a whole different story.
There are lots of good things that are happening here, and we can only kind of give you a snapshot throughout the course of the day, as Whit has done with his particular role, community relations and church relations specifically. But if you want to learn more, we'd love for you to connect. Palmerhome.org is the website. You can find all the contact information there. I appreciate you getting up early, sharing part of what you do on a daily basis, and let's have a great day.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you, partners. Thank you for those that are coming alongside today to make the life of a child more hopeful and helpful.
Outstanding. Just getting started with you. It's Palmer Home for Children, the Radiothon on SuperTalk Mississippi, 13th annual. Quick timeout. Just getting started. We're back right after this.
From the Venable Glass.
You're listening to the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/palmerhome to help rescue and restore a child in need. And now with more, here's Richard Cross.
Good morning once again, and welcome to the 13th annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon on SuperTalk Mississippi. Just getting started with you. And when we are just getting started, that means we have a zero on the chalkboard, as in $0 raised. I know sometimes it's fun to wait until the end of the day, and you see that number jump, and we're chasing a goal at the end of the day, and that's all well and good. But you've also got to start to get to a number to chase at the end of the day. And so, as you wake up this morning, you're having that first or second, or maybe in my case, third cup of coffee already. Now's as good a time as any. Grab your phone while you're sitting there. Jump on the website, supertalk.fm/palmerhome. You can make an online donation. Somebody is going to have the honor of being the first donor of the day for our SuperTalk Mississippi Palmer Home for Children Radiothon. We get to tell stories throughout the course of the day, and we get to visit with people who are closely connected on a daily basis to the work that's happening here at Palmer Home. One of those people is Dana Hall, who joins us right now. She is a house parent here. Dana, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I appreciate you getting up early.
Thank you.
Which you may have to do on a daily basis anyway, because you've got a lot of folks that are leaning on you and are looking to you for guidance and looking for you to be mama in the house parent role.
It was very quiet this morning, though. Everybody's still in the bed.
Which is the first illustration of the day that Palmer Home is just like most of our homes. In the summertime, we get kids that are sleeping in a little bit later and then start to stir a little bit. How did this come about for you? You were telling me in the break that this is 3 years. You just marked a 3-year anniversary in this role. How did it start?
Well, about 3.5 years ago, our pastor and his wife were associated with Palmer Home. She was administrative assistant here / house parent, and he was telling us from the pulpit what need there was here for mentors and foster parents and house parents and relief parents, and what a need it was for the children here. And me and my husband and a lot of other people in my family were praying for what this could mean for us. I've been in child care. Well, I started babysitting when I was 12 years old. Okay. So I've been with children in child care since then. And so we started praying and asking God, if this is where you want us to be, then I need you to open the doors. Because at that time, financially, we just couldn't afford to shut everything down that we were doing and come here. And my husband's was a truck driver. So we talked to administration and we said, this is what it has to look like for us. I would need to come on as a full-time house parent, but he would need to keep his full-time job for another 2 years and 4 months to get his retirement, his full retirement from his job. And they all agreed that would be perfect based on our background with child care and all of that. They thought that would be a great fit. So we came on July 1st, and this past July marked 3 years. He started November 1st of 2024 as a full-time house parent, even though he's been helping me the whole time. It's like a normal family. Dad goes to work. He comes home. He helps with the children in the afternoons and the weekends. So that's what he did. And so we've been here 3 years as of July 1st.
That's incredible. And he stuck to his end of the bargain. With that 28 months, he got to the retirement point, and then he was that something that he was looking forward to, also making that transition into a full-time role? Because when you get to retirement, I know there are people that ask, like, okay, what do I want to do now? What's next? And it sounds like that plan was already in place.
It was. And as of right now, we have a 5-year plan from when he retired in November that we would like to be here 5+ years. Okay. But our plan is at least 5 years. And then health-wise, if we can do longer than 5, we're in for the long haul.
That's really incredible to me, because as we've learned stories about house parents over the course of the last 13 years, one of the things that's real is that this is a heavy load. It's a heavy load on a family. It's a heavy load on the parents. And so it sounds to me like you guys have found a way to manage that load and make it work for you, but also make it work for the children.
It's very good marriage-wise. I mean, just imagine. You and your wife both get to stay home and take care of kids all day, but spend all the time together, running appointments, going to the grocery store, mentoring the children, having your quiet time, having dinner time, focusing around the table with, like, we do catechisms at night around our table, and just being there together. Not very many husband and wives get to spend 24/7 together if they want to.
Right.
And so that's just a blessing to us in advance to being able to take care of all the children.
You know, that says something to me about your marriage as well, because there's some husbands and wives that don't need to spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week together. So that certainly is something special as well. C-Spire text line open, 601-879-4395. Somebody says, let's get Super Talk. Let's start the ball rolling. Donate remote to the Palmer homes. Do they? Let me give you the ways that you can donate. supertalk.fm/Palmer home. If you want to make a donation online, you can do so by calling the number 662-469-5533. If you prefer Venmo, you can do that at Palmer Home-4Children, or you can text SuperTalk, S-U-E, I'm not going to try and spell that because I just messed it up, SuperTalk to 50155. 50155. We've got our first update of the day, so some of your donations are starting to roll in. Families are about relationships. And as a house parent, you have lots of kids. Talk to me a little bit about some of the relationships that you have been able to build with the children that are under your daily care.
Well, we have 8 girls in our house as of right now.
Wow.
They range from the age of 3 to 17. And
I feel like I should say wow again. Because the needs of a 3-year-old and a 17-year-old are vastly different.
Definitely. That's where the daycare comes into effect, because we're used to the potty training from daycare, but then we also have 3 grown adults that are all girls.
Sure.
And they all have their own children. So we've been through all of it from birth to...
You have your own girls.
Yes.
3 of them.
Yes.
Okay.
3 girls. I also have 7 grandsons and 1 granddaughter.
Isn't it crazy how that works?
It is. It was nice having all
girls, and then you get to boys for a while, and it all goes all goes in full circle.
It does. Yesterday's a prime example as to building relationships. I had one of my children that needed to go have her wisdom teeth out. So we're driving, and I'm explaining, because she's very scared of needles and any of that. So I said, okay, look, this is what they're going to do. They're going to numb your mouth a little bit. It's just going to be like a little pinch. You're going to go to sleep. You're not going to feel a thing. When you wake up, they're going to be gone, and your mouth is going to be numb, so you'll feel nothing. I said, and it's been, you can hear horror stories of wisdom teeth coming out. I said, but medicine and dentistry has come along so far that you're hardly even going to feel any pain.
Okay.
So last night at the dinner table, when we were going through saying what we were thankful for today, she said, I'm thankful for Mama Dana telling me that it was going to be okay and I can do this, and there's not, and walking me through what's going to happen, so I knew. Because in these kids' lives, they've had enough surprises and changes that if you can prepare them for each moment ahead of time, they can focus on that and they can get through it easier if they're prepared for what's happening.
Did you also share with her ice cream and, smoothies?
Oh, yes, she had yogurt
backside?
and ice cream last night. Yep.
That's good. All right, so that's an example of a relationship between you and one of the children in your house. What about the relationships that you see developing among the children? We talked about that age gap a second ago, 17 and 3. My oldest daughter's 15, my youngest daughter is 8, and it's kind of neat to see the dynamic that they have with each other.
Well, so 3 of the kids in my house are related.
Okay.
I have a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old that are related.
Okay.
So right now the 3-year-old's potty training. So every 30 minutes we have a timer set to take her to the potty. So the 9-year-old, which is her sister, will say, "Can I take her this time?" So they're bonding in that type of relationship.
That is fantastic. If you're speaking to the entire state of Mississippi, if you could give somebody a word of encouragement who maybe is on the fence about donating today, what would you say to them? Why would you encourage them that Palmer Home is a good place for their resources?
On a day-to-day basis, we have to provide for children just as you would in your home. So if my child needs undergarments or tennis shoes or a coat for the winter, you are the way that we provide for these children on a day-to-day basis. It's your help and your donations that helps take care of these children every single day, whether it's ice cream, whether it's clothing, whether it's supplies they need to do their homework for school, pens and pencils, paper. No amount, whether how small or how large, is not thankful and appreciated in every single way. We had someone donate last year for us to go to Magic Springs. If it hadn't have been for that donor, we would not have been able to take all of the children to Magic Springs. And that's something that some families take for granted is vacations and being able to take their children places. You plan a vacation every year for your family. We don't have that. We have to wait for people like you to donate and give to us in order for us to provide for the children each day.
And that's the opportunity that we are trying to give to you today, to donate to make a difference in the lives of not only these house parents, but the children as well. 601-879-4395. That's the C Spire text line. You can donate at supertalk.fm/Palmer Home. Dana, thanks so much.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
We're back right after this.
From the SeabrookPaint.com.
You're listening to the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/Palmer Home to help rescue and restore a child in need. And now with more, here's Richard Cross.
Words that I am going to repeat a lot throughout the course of the day. Thank you. I'm going to say thank you a lot today. We're going to say thank you for a lot of your donations, but if you will oblige me, I would first like to say thank you to Coffee Central. We got the Go Juice early this morning. Got here just before, a little bit before 6 o'clock. I don't know. Houston's probably been here since 2 in the morning, something like that, making it all happen. But thanks to our friends at Coffee Central. Coffee bar, breakfast spread this morning. I just got the sausage balls. I'm told they're donuts as well. Be sure to check them out. They're in South Haven on Getwell Road. Breakfast, lunch, and, of course, coffee to learn why they were voted DeSoto's best coffee shop. That is Coffee Central in South Haven on Getwell Road. Thank you for the coffee this morning. We welcome you again to the 13th annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon. Going to be here all day long. You can see the first update was a $305 update this morning. That was a gift from Representative Price Wallace. He has been part of the good work that is happening here at Palmer Home for a number of years, and he offered a word of encouragement to all of his fellow representatives. This is one particular day on the calendar where we take all partisanship and we set it to the side. It does not matter if you are an elephant or a donkey, if you prefer red or blue, if you have an R, a D, or an I next to your name. I think we all can come together in support of children. And so on behalf of Representative Price Wallace, I encourage you to make a donation today. I want to tell you about something pretty special that we're going to do for the very first time. I wish that this is not something that we were doing, and I think you'll understand what I mean in just a second. Today was a very, very special day for our friend, our colleague, our, to use his term, brother in broadcast for many, many years, the late Paul Gallo. This was Paul's time slot, 6 to 9. You know that. I know that. I had the pleasure of filling in a number of times for Paul. Most recently, the last couple of years, Paul joined me for about half an hour during the first hour of the show, or the 7 o'clock hour, whichever it was, while I was here on site and he was in his home studio. We lost Paul earlier this year, and today we are announcing the launch of the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund here at Palmer Home for Children. So this is an opportunity, if you feel so inclined, if you were moved, laughed with, yelled at, or angered by, threw things at your radio or your TV screen, or you just felt like he was part of your family. This is an opportunity for you to remember and make a gift in honor of our late friend Paul Gallo. Paul was he was moved from the very first time that we came here. I remember that Paul and I were both first-time Palmer homers, if you will, 13 years ago, before the campus moved here to Northwest Mississippi. It was in the Columbus location, that old and historic place where Palmer Home had been headquartered for so many years. And like the case for me 13 years ago, Paul was learning about Palmer Home largely for the first time. And there were a couple of things that really moved him. The children, especially the young children. And I think it was in part because he was a grandfather and he had grandchildren that were comparable age to some of the kids. And Paul had this love for the choir. There was the Palmer Home Choir, and he loved to hear them sing and probably hummed along with them. I don't know if he actually sang along with them, but that was a moving experience for him. We recognize that just like our own kids or our own grandkids, kids are expensive. And part of the reason they're expensive, it's not just the daily needs, it's all of the extra things that they do. Registration fees for whatever sports they play, equipment that they need, camps that they go to, extracurricular activities, piano lessons, horseback riding lessons, cello lessons, whatever it may be. And Palmer Home spends, on average, about $265 a year per child for the extracurricular activities of the kids here. And it has always been important, in addition to taking care of the physical and the emotional and the spiritual needs of the children, to make sure that they're connecting with other kids and they are participating in activities that enrich their lives and are fun and are enjoyable. And so that's where the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund is going to focus on funding extracurricular activities for kids that live here at Palmer Home for Children. Whether it is a donation of $265, which would cover that average annual cost per child, or it's something far less, or it's something far more, we would love for you to make a donation in Paul's memory for the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund as part of our annual SuperTalk Mississippi Radiothon for Palmer Home. And I want to kick that off, actually, if it's okay with you. Jane and I and our kids, so on behalf of our family, and we are, something we're going to tell you about throughout the course of the day, the opportunity to be a monthly donor so that it's not just a one-time thing, it's not just a one-time event. A few years ago, that's something that we set up, and it's been rewarding, and it's been beneficial for us. It's kind of been the easiest way for us to give. So we have a monthly donation. It just gets drawn out of our checking account. But in addition to that, I want to kick off the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund with a $500 donation to that. So we'll start things off in Paul's memory with that, and would encourage you to do the exact same thing. Pick up the phone. You can call us at 662-469-5533. Again, 662-469-5533. You can text your donation amount to SuperTalk at 50155, 50155, or you can go online, supertalk.fm/PalmerHome. It's simple, it's easy, it's right there where you can do it at your fingertips. If it's too early to converse with someone, you can just do it right online. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can make the donation there as well. We'll have an update on the board for you coming up in just a little bit. Right now, though, I want to tell you about Rebecca. Rebecca was a child that lived here on Palmer Home's campus for a couple of years. And Rebecca came from a situation in which she had no remaining family to speak of. And so she was searching. She was searching for love. She was searching for a home. And as part of her time on Palmer Home's campus, Rebecca connected with a family that was part of the Mentors program here. So kind of like we were talking about with Whit earlier this morning, when you have churches and community organizations that connect with Palmer Home, there are a lot of different ways to connect, and one of those ways is through the Mentor program. You're able to align families with kids who have certain interests, maybe that connect there. Or maybe it's just from being on campus and getting to know some of the kids, and there's a more natural connection. So Rebecca was matched with a family that was serving as a mentor family through the Palmer Home foster care program. The relationship between Rebecca and this family grew, and as the mentor family recognized that there was no chance for reunification for Rebecca because she didn't have family remaining outside the walls of Palmer Home, they were touched. And as that relationship grew, they decided to bring Rebecca in to their house as full-time foster parents. And that's just one example of the way that this works. So she was on campus, Rebecca was, for a couple of years. Did not have that possibility of reunification, which is always the goal, right? That's Drake Bassett talked to us about that a week or so ago. Maybe you were listening on mornings, and he said, I want people to understand that our goal is always reunification. We want to try to mend fences. We want to try to provide support where it's needed, whether it's to the child or to the family. We want to connect resources so that families can remain together, because ultimately that is more times than not the best thing for the child. But sometimes that reunification process is not possible. I am pleased to tell you that Rebecca is thriving in her foster home. She has foster parents that love her, that are taking care of her, and it's one of the blessings that comes from the work that's happening here. It's one of the feel-good stories as well, and so that's part of what's going on here. There are a lot of different tenets of the ministry here at Palmer Home. Reunification, the foster program, this on-campus facility, some of the work that is happening with incarcerated mothers. That's a program that started in the Nashville area, and there is a hope that it can continue to grow. Palmer Home for Children, a place that receives no government assistance. There is no handout from the state or federal government that is coming to Palmer Home. They rely on donations from people just like you. And it's not so much the amount that matters in the donation. We don't want to put any limits on you. But we also don't want you to think that it has to be some massive amount of money. You can donate $5, if you can donate $50 or $500, whatever it may be. Whether it's in memory of Paul Gallo, or just because of the good work that you're hearing here at Palmer Home, we encourage you to do that. supertalk.fm/Palmer Home. If you're watching on SuperTalk TV, you see the number 662-469-5533. We're back with you right after this. It's the SuperTalk Mississippi Palmer Home for Children Radiothon.
From the Venable Glass.
You're listening to the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/Palmer Home to help rescue and restore a child in need. Now, here's more.
There are 4 major tenets to the work that is being done at Palmer Home for Children. They are campus care. That's where we are today. We are on campus at Palmer Home for Children here in northwest Mississippi in DeSoto County. And that's pretty self-explanatory, right? You've got kids that live in houses on campus with house parents, and that is part of the work that is happening here. Kids that are going to school like normal, and they're doing activities, and they're eating all of their meals here. This is their home. That's the campus care piece of it. You understand what foster care is. Palmer Home works in conjunction with families who are focused on taking children into their homes. Not necessarily on a permanent basis, but giving them a loving home for whatever that time period is. And then there's family care and transitional care, and we're going to talk more about those things throughout the course of the day. From the beginning, the work at Palmer Home has been focused on what they call a whole child initiative, and that is taking care of the physical needs, the toothbrush and the bed and the meals and getting them to school on time, but also the spiritual needs, making sure that there's a foundation and an understanding of the gospel and the role that Jesus plays in our lives, and also the emotional needs. There are counselors that are on staff here, and they are working with these kids to make sure that they feel love in their life every single day. The same type of love that you try to share with your children in your homes, that's what's happening here. Excited to say that we do have an update. If you're watching on SuperTalk TV, you see that this morning. So we went from $305 to $2,427. Thankful as we have this morning launched the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund to help fund the extracurricular activities from some of the kids here. We've had a couple of donations or a few donations that have already come in the name of that, including from the Gallo family. This was an important day, not just for Paul, but for all of them. They have reached out and have made kind of a kickstart donation for the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund. We are thankful to them, to Patsy, to Mark. I heard from Jennifer this morning on the way. We exchanged a couple of text messages. They loved their husband, their dad, their grandpa very, very dearly, and a beautiful way for them to honor him and his memory for something that was near and dear to his heart, and that's the work here at Palmer Home for Children. Lots and lots and lots of ways for you to give. I realized that I should do as I say, not as I, or maybe I need you to do as I say, not as I do, because I handed Alex my credit card. I was like, hey, can you go plug that donation? I could have just gone to the website that I've given you 100 times, which is supertalk.fm/Palmer Home, supertalk.fm/Palmer Home. You can go online. It's very interactive and easy, and it's a secure website. You can make your donation there. You can also give us a call, 662-469-5533. You can use Venmo if that is your preferred payment method at Palmer Home for Children, or you can text to the number 50155 SuperTalk along with the amount of your donation. Is that an automatic donation amount, or you include in the text the amount that you want to donate on the text to donate? We're going to get an answer to that question for you instead of just making up an answer. Because I don't know what that is. I've been saying text the amount you want to donate, but we'll check to be sure on that. I suppose I owe an apology, Lance Tolbert, for not saying good morning to you. We just kind of hit the ground running with a guest right out of the way and wanted to make sure people knew all the ways to donate. Hello, my friend.
Hey, how's it going, buddy? Doing a great job. Yeah, we kind of came out of the gate quick today, but you kind of have to. It's an amazing day, and we have so many wonderful people to showcase and highlight. So, yeah, you don't need me to talk, so you just get back to doing what you're doing.
Well, I just wanted to recognize that you were there and making sure you got Will hanging out with you in the same room today.
Well, almost. He's next door.
He's close.
Yeah, he's
there
close.
You go. There you go. He's
I'll be on my best behavior today. So
that's right. You got more people around early in the morning than are there most mornings. I guess.
That's right, man. I got some competition for the coffee.
Ooh. Well, just make sure somebody makes another pot when one runs out, and just keep it all going. Nobody was that when I mentioned sausage balls.
I was very.
They're
envious.
Really good. They are really, really good. No false advertising there. Especially, one of the things that always happened when Paul was sitting in this spot, as we talk about the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund this morning, he would challenge legislators. He would challenge statewide appointed and elected officials, and then it kind of became a bit of a rivalry. Legislators would call in, and they would challenge other specific legislators. Here's the thing that I've learned. There are a lot of people that are in statewide office or are legislators across the state of Mississippi that listen to this show right now, that even start at 6 a.m. If you're listening, and I know many of you are, I hope you'll take a minute to pick up the phone and call at 662-469-5533 or go online to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome and make a donation. Don't spend the day thinking that I should do that. The amount isn't important. It's the giving that is. supertalk.fm/PalmerHome, 7 o'clock hour coming up next.
You're listening to the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome to help rescue and restore a child in need. And now with more, here's Richard Cross.
Just shy of $2,500 in the first hour this morning in the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon. A long way to go over the next 11 hours as we work to raise money for the incredible work that is happening here at Palmer Home. Just a little bit of a tease here on the desk. I got some Killer Hogs barbecue rub and a recipe from our friend Malcolm Reed. I'll tell you more about that coming up in just a little while. I want to say thank you to some of our elected officials. Representative Josh Hawkins jumped on this morning, represents House District 10, and he made a donation to the work that is happening at Palmer Home and encouraged his fellow legislators to do the exact same thing. Also, we had that donation from Price Wallace encouraging others to make a donation. So thank you, Representative Hawkins and Wallace as well. We appreciate that and hope many others of you will donate as well. I think the number has actually gotten bigger. We're not going to just constantly update the board for you, but we will keep you up to date with what is happening. I mentioned a few minutes ago, before the end of the 6 o'clock hour, that there are some tenets or legs to the stool, if you will, for what happens at Palmer Home. And one of the legs to that stool is family care. And to talk a little bit more about that, a friend that got up really, really early at her home in Nashville and has made her way here to the Palmer Home campus, Susan Moffitt, Director of Family Care. Thanks for jumping up early and joining us on site this morning.
Yeah, I like the early slots.
Absolutely. 7 o'clock, I mean, that's just kind of middle of the road.
Yeah, it's okay.
Tell us about what's going on within the Family Care division of Palmer Home.
Yeah, so Family Care is a ministry to moms that are going through difficult times.
Yeah.
So some of our moms deliver while they're incarcerated and some while they're in recovery programs. And we have volunteer families who come alongside moms to support them by caring for those little ones and helping mom through that hard season, and then as they transition back out into the community.
You know, there are lots of powerful words that are used when we're talking about the things that go on at Palmer Home, and there are a couple that I think of in particular with the family care ministry. I think about restoration and redemption also. There are all different reasons that mothers find themselves incarcerated for poor decisions that they've made, but there are women who get to that place and they realize this isn't the life that I want, because I want to be a mother, I want to be a friend, I want to be a spouse, whatever those things are. This strikes me as a really powerful ministry. I remember when I first heard about that, I was heard about this particular family care ministry.
Yeah.
I was a little skeptical, just to be perfectly honest. But as I've learned more about it, I feel like it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at Scripture at all, you see that obviously this is a population that's tender to the heart of God, right? From from Exodus and Isaiah into James and in 1 Timothy, we hear about people without families, children without families, and women without husbands. And a lot of our moms fall into both those categories, right? They're without families, and the majority of our moms are without husbands. So it's clear through Scripture that that's a population that we're called to come alongside, to provide for, and to help become family for people without family. And so that's what our caregivers do. We work hard at establishing those long-term relationships. And that's looking at it from a perspective of faith, but if you look at it from a perspective of even public health, any research in addiction recovery or reentry information about people coming out of incarceration, relationship is key to overcoming any kind of adversity. So
these are relationships that perhaps start while a mother is incarcerated, but they don't end on the day that she
not at all
leaves that prison sentence. Those are relationships that are ongoing, that are like built-in support mechanisms?
They are. They're absolutely ongoing. They if we meet a mom while she's pregnant before she delivers, it starts even then. Families come into the prison, meet with a mom while she's pregnant, so that mom has a relationship already. So when she has to deliver and return to prison, she knows the family already. And a lot of families are there that very week with the newborn. They can take the newborns into the prison for visits. So moms don't have a break in that in their visits. They stay mindful of their children. They stay engaged in their children. Our families keep money on their phones for daily phone calls, for regular visits, and our staff as well. We're meeting on the inside, and then we're there the day that they get out of prison and help them get to the next.
You get to celebrate with them also.
We absolutely celebrate, and we stay engaged because. The obstacles for a single mom when she starts to work and when everyone needs people around to help with childcare, to help with, getting that transportation, getting those clothes. I always say coming out of prison's like you've been through a natural disaster, right? You're empty-handed. You're empty-handed, and all those things have to start to come together for you to build a new life.
We talk primarily today about making donations because funding is necessary to make sure that these works are ongoing. But for the person that is looking for something to add to their prayer list, what is the specific prayer that you want prayed for the family care ministry?
I think it would be that people would feel hope. First of all, it's really through transformation that they come to know Christ. That's the first prayer, right? Because that's what changes a lineage in a family. That's what changes a life, right? Is a relationship with Christ. And so that's what I'd pray the most, is that our moms and our children as well would come to know Jesus and have a personal walk and relationship. And so often in the South, we know a lot of people hear the gospel, but they don't experience relationship with people that are really transformed. And that's what the benefit of those caregivers is coming alongside someone, and they get to see, what it means to be prayerful about things, what it means for your life not to fall apart if you have a death in your family, what it means to live out your faith and grow in your faith. So that's the most important thing, is that they really see a picture of transformed lives through our ministry and then want that. They're drawn to that.
That's actually where I wanted to go next. So I can see a scenario where there's a mother that's pregnant, that's going to have a child while in prison, or already has a child, and she sees this as the opportunity for something that's transactional.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, I don't know who else is going to take care of my kid, even if I'm not there mentally or emotionally. I want what's good for my kid. I'm curious if you've had that situation where that's the part that has happened first, and then because of that relationship and love that's displayed, you've seen a change in the mother.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because what happens first is they're skeptical and they don't trust. They think that that people are generally just out to get their children, right? I mean, that was 11 years ago. That was one of the most profound things that a mom said to me, is that I've never had someone offer to do something for me without expecting something in return.
Oh, wow.
And that was huge.
That's just within her life.
Yeah, that was her whole life. She had never had anyone want to help her, or want to do anything for her or give her anything without expecting something in return.
We're talking about unconditional love.
Yeah, that's the first obstacle, is just proving that we're trustworthy and, doing a good job with being very trustworthy time after time, so our reputation in the prison is positive, where it's actually moms who tell other moms about us and say, hey, you can trust them. They're not going to take custody of your child. You're going to keep custody of your child. You're going to be able to get your child right when you get out, and they're really going to help you all along the way. So that's it. So I have more of that than actually someone trying to take advantage of us. I have that obstacle of
who think you're trying to take advantage of them.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
What an incredible ministry, and it's one of the tenets here at Palmer Home. You know about the campus care. That is what is happening right here on campus at Palmer Home for Children. We've talked a little bit about the foster care piece of this. We've now heard about family care, and we're going to get to transitional care, because there are kids that are growing up on this Palmer Home campus that, guess what, they outgrow it. They become young adults, and they've got to take the next step in their lives. We're going to tell you those stories as we go throughout the day as well. Susan, it's always great to see you.
Yeah, great
Thanks
to see you.
so much for sharing some of
you.
what's happening with the family care program.
Well, thank you.
Palmer Home for Children Radiothon. 13th consecutive year that we've done this, and we need your help. We need to raise money for Palmer Home. They accept no government funding. This is all private donations from people like you, businesses like you. We're going to talk about not only the ways you can give, but perhaps the ways that you can do some planned giving, the way that perhaps you can engage your employer to match some of the giving that you're doing as well. The phone number, if you want to call and have a chat with somebody this morning, 662-469-5533. They are more than happy to take your donation over the phone. If you're sitting at your desk or at your computer at home and you want to go online, you can go to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome. What am I talking about? You can do that on your phone, too. You don't have to be at your computer. supertalk.fm/PalmerHome. You can make an online donation. You can Venmo at Palmer Home -for Children, or shoot a text, SuperTalk, to 50155. You will get a link back that you can click on. You can make the donation as you see fit. And don't forget, we have launched the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund to help fund the extracurricular activities for the kids that are living here on campus. We've got much more coming up with you, including one of our favorites, Malcolm Reed, on the other side of this break. It's the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon on SuperTalk Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass Traffic
The Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome to help rescue and restore a child in need. Now, here's more.
That number sitting just south of $2,500 on our big board this morning, but that is a number that is going to grow significantly as we go throughout the day. This has been your generosity has been unmatched over the last dozen years. This is year 13 of the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon, and a guy who has been with us for a long, long time on this and has been a huge advocate for and donor to Palmer Home, the great Malcolm Reed. HowToBBQRight.com is his website. There's nobody that you want cooking ribs for you or anything else more than our good friend Malcolm Reed. Malcolm, good morning.
Good morning. It's glad to be here, man.
Man, it's we are so happy for your continued success and continued growth. I feel like there's not a section in the grocery store I go to where I don't see those cans of seasoning. I know that part of the business is taking off, and things are good for you. Tell us what you've been up to.
Oh man, we've just been cooking up a bunch of good barbecue and just having a big time here in the state of Mississippi. Man, it's summertime, so it's always full throttle.
Absolutely. We're doing kind of a special thing today. Let's talk a little bit before we announce that about your relationship with Palmer Home, because this goes back several years. You have connected with the good work that's happening here. How did it start in the very beginning?
SuperTalk is what brought me to it, and it was the late great JT, man. He was a buddy of mine, and he would have me on his show, and he was really one of the instrumental people in doing this radiothon. And he invited me to come on the show and talk a little bit, and to actually to make some donations and encourage people to, and just being from the state of Mississippi, I thought it's a great cause, and me and my wife have just chose to get behind the Palmer Home and help them out.
On behalf of everybody at the Palmer Home, we thank you. And one of the things that really stands out for me, Malcolm, is that as your success has grown, your support of Palmer Home has grown, whether it's cooking on site or through monetary donations. Am I supposed to announce this, or do you want to tell me what you and your wife are doing today?
Well, this year they come up with a great idea, and every dollar that someone donates to the Palmer Home really helps. And we're going to challenge you to become a monthly donor. And if whoever signs up to become a monthly donor, we're going to send them a free bottle of our The Barbecue Rub, just as a thank you. It's a small thank you from us, but we just want everybody to know that their donations help, and that it's really going to help take care of these kids and make their futures better.
If you're watching on SuperTalk TV, I've got a jar of the Killer Hogs Hot Barbecue Rub. You're not actually going to get the hot. You're going to get the regular barbecue rub. It is fantastic. There's an entire line of Killer Hogs seasonings for a lot of different things. And when you get that, you're going to get a recipe card as well. The barbecue grilled chicken. I mean, everybody thinks they know how to do barbecue chicken, Malcolm. What is it that makes yours special?
Yeah, well, barbecue chicken's not easy. Anybody can do it, I promise you. But the big thing about it is just making sure you get it done. Nobody wants to serve undercooked chicken, but you want it to be juicy. You want it to have a lot of good flavor. So my trick to it is just start it off on the low side of the grill, indirect heat, away from those hot coals or your heat source, and just let it come up to temp slow. And then when it gets about 75% done, that's when you can put your barbecue sauce on the outside, put it over that direct heat, let it get a little bit of that char that everybody likes, that good grilled flavor, and that'll get your chicken. It'll make sure it's done. It's going to have great flavor, and it's going to stay juicy on the inside.
All right, in case you missed it just a second ago when Malcolm said it, if you sign up to become a monthly donor today, so a recurring donation, it's just debited from your checking account or your credit card on a monthly basis, regardless of the amount, you are going to receive a jar of Killer Hogs barbecue seasoning. You're going to get that barbecue chicken recipe on a note card. And Malcolm and his wife, the crew at How to Barbecue Right, going to make a $5,000 matching donation today. So for every dollar that you donate up to $5,000, Malcolm going to match that $5,000 donation today. Malcolm, incredibly generous, and man, we just thank you so very much for that.
Oh man, I am glad to be here. It's always a special day to us. And look, just everybody out there, if you can make a donation, that's great. Those dollars help the kids here at Palmer Home. But just for one thing, tell a friend about the Palmer Home and all the good work they're doing. These kids are going to be our future caregivers, our future leaders, and it's important for us to help them out when it's time. So they're doing a great thing here in the state of Mississippi, and we just want to, help out the best we can.
It's incredible to hear you say, Malcolm, that you learned about Palmer Home through SuperTalk. I know I'm a host here, I get that, but I also learned about Palmer Home through SuperTalk. 13 years ago, when we did the very first remote, we didn't really know what to expect. We had never tackled, hey, let's focus on one specific charitable cause, and let's rally around it, and let's have a radiothon. And we just kind of went in and said, all right, let's give this a try and see what happens. And it has grown over the past decade plus. And It's how I got to know about Palmer Home and the work that's happening here and the growth that has happened over the last decade plus really is incredible.
Oh, it is. I've had the chance to go out and see the campus out there, visit with some of the families and the kids, and it's just a wonderful thing they're doing, man. And hopefully we're going to be able to keep this up for years to come, and just do some good things for the kids in need here in the state of Mississippi.
I know you cook for a lot of other people, but tell me what you put on the grill for the Independence Day weekend for 4th of July.
Oh man, I had to cook some ribs. I had my
of
family
course you
in,
did.
My parents came, and we cooked a bunch of ribs, barbecue bologna, some pulled pork. Man, we had a full spread. It was a great time.
That is absolutely fantastic. Malcolm Reed, always appreciate you, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us. And I know JT would be proud to know that you have continued to carry the torch for Palmer Home.
Thank you, and just everybody out there, just if you can donate, please make a donation, but make sure you tell a friend about the Palmer Home.
Beautiful. Thank you, Malcolm.
Have a good one.
Malcolm Reed, How to Barbecue Right. The website, howtobbqright.com. If you have never been to that website, well, one, you're missing out. And two, I would encourage you to check it out, because if you are looking for recipes, how to do ribs, how to do the barbecued chicken, how to smoke a brisket, how to do a Boston butt, whatever that. He's got step-by-step instructions for all of those on the website. You can check out the videos that he's got on YouTube as well. And we love supporting the people who are supportive of the causes that are important to us. So if Palmer Home is important to you, Malcolm Reed should be as well. He has absolutely, no pun intended, put his money where his mouth is on this, and is sweetening things today. So I just want to make sure we know. Malcolm and his wife have made a $5,000 donation. That is a matching donation. So they will match up to $5,000. So that's going to be coming in throughout the course of the show today. And they are encouraging you to become an annual donor, a monthly donor on kind of an annual basis. So same day each month, just a debit from your checking account or your credit card to do the donation amount of your choosing, whether that's $20 a month or $200 a month or $2,000 a month, whatever that number is that you're comfortable with. You can make that recurring donation so that it's not just a one-time thing today. And as a thank you for doing that, you will receive a jar of Killer Hogs barbecue rub. And I'm told it is not the hot rub. I think he called it the Z-rub. I think that's what Malcolm said. It's just the regular flavored rub. This is not a paid endorsement. I'm not trying to be a shill. I'm just telling you, I use it. It is in my spice cabinet, in my spice drawer. And look, if you don't believe me from a cooking standpoint, that's fine. You can believe Malcolm, or you can believe my good friend Brian Haydad, who has the entire suite of Killer Hogs barbecue rubs, all the different flavors. He'll be on this afternoon. I promise you he will vouch for those. But if you sign up to become a monthly donor, we'll send you that recipe for Malcolm's barbecue grilled chicken and a bottle of the Killer Hogs barbecue rub as well. Our thanks to Malcolm. So how do you donate? I told you all that stuff. How do you donate? You go online to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome, supertalk.fm/PalmerHome, or you can give us a call, 662-469-5533. If you want to Venmo, you can do so at Palmer Home-4Children, or text the word SuperTalk to 50155. We're going to be getting close to an update on the board. I know more has come in. We are just shy of $2,500. At least that's what we are showing you right now on SuperTalk TV. That number is going to grow because your donations are coming in. Thanks to some of our elected officials across the state who have jumped in. C-Spire text line, you want to communicate with me, you can do that, 601-879-4395. Somebody says, I went online and gave weeks ago. It's my 13th consecutive year. We appreciate that very much. Many of you also trying to get in this morning. You're going to hit me up on X. You can do that as well. It's at Mornings Cross. Supertalk.fm/PalmerHome. Please go online and give or call 662-469-5533. 5533. More of Mornings after this as we broadcast live for Palmer Home. It's the SuperTalk Mississippi Palmer Home for Children Radiothon.
From the SuperPaint.com.
You're listening to the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome to help rescue and restore a child in need. Now, here's more.
All right, don't forget we've got that $5,000 matching donation from Malcolm Reed at How to BBQ Right. So all of your dollars that come in will be matched dollar for the next $5,000, and you will get, if you sign up to become a monthly donor, the barbecue rub, the seasoning from the Killer Hogs line of seasonings, and a special barbecue chicken recipe going to come to your door. So don't miss out on the opportunity. We're about to update the big board and give you a number on where we stand. Remind you the ways that you can give: supertalk.fm/PalmerHome. This is the 13th annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon. Supertalk.fm/PalmerHome or 662-469-5533. 662-469-5533. The number up over $3,800 now, so I'm just going to be real with you. We're kind of off to a slow start. We got a long way to go today, and we need your help. We really do need your help this morning in terms of your donations. Whether you just listened to the show, we had a message a little while ago from Lance, I think lost it. Realtors?
Yes, we had. Well, I don't know if I have the name on that, but
okay.
I believe it was just suggesting that all realtors and appraisers out there make a gift today.
Very good.
That's where we are there.
Very good. There was a donation and an encouragement to colleagues and folks in related professions from the real estate community and the appraisal community as well. Madison Drake joins me now. She is Director of Development here at Palmer Home. If you've been listening to Mornings, you heard a conversation a few weeks ago with her. As well. Great to see you. Good morning.
Good to see you, Richard. Good morning.
What a great day.
It is a wonderful day. This is one of my favorite days on campus.
One of the really cool things, this turns into a celebration day on campus. We've got Radiothon going here, but simultaneously, as we get a little bit deeper into the day, water slide, inflatables, the gym is wide open. This is a big party day for the kids here at Palmer Home.
It is a big party day. It's a big party day for us. We love it. For all of us who work here, everybody who volunteers, we get to do so much. We get to interact with the children who are up here and getting to enjoy all of the fun for the day, and just to see everybody call in and contribute and be a part of what we do here. It's really special.
One of my favorite things about this is seeing the spread of donations from the entire state of Mississippi. Obviously, home base now is in DeSoto County. For the longest time, it was that Columbus headquarters, and it's not just isolated to the place where the campus is. We've got people from the coast, from the Pine Belt, from Central Mississippi, North Mississippi, all that are making donations and are being part of this day.
Absolutely, and it's always so incredible to me to see firsthand just how generous Mississippians are. I think there is truly something, whenever they say Mississippians are such a generous group of people, we really, really are. And today just exemplifies that. But one thing that we always share with folks is that we serve children from throughout the state of Mississippi. So while our roots are in Columbus, and that's where we started, and that's where our home is, the heart of our home is, we're located in Hernando now, and we serve children from all over. So that's kind of our geographic location is here, but the children we serve is throughout the state, throughout the Mid-South, and that's one thing we're so happy that we are able to do.
Your business card says Director of Development. That's a really fancy way for saying I'm going to be asking you for money.
That's exactly what that is.
But you've got a really great story to tell to go along with that ask. There are all kinds of ways to give, right? I mean, there's this day in terms of a one-time donation. There are recurring monthly gifts, but then there's also the part of the giving that you're focused on, estate planning, longer term gifts, also working with businesses.
Absolutely.
Taking advantage of some tax credits that are in place. Tell us a little bit more.
Absolutely. So one thing that we have been so fortunate here at Palmer Home to utilize, so we work with businesses to take advantage of what is called a charitable tax credit. Mississippi is one of the few states that actually offers this to both businesses and individuals. So basically, and I want to make sure I'm wording all of this correctly for all of you, but check my facts here. But as a business in Mississippi or as an individual, you can file for a charitable tax credit through the Department of Revenue in Mississippi. You can do that for any year. And so what you do is under the ECO, which is Eligible Charitable Organization, there's a lot of acronyms here, or ETHO, which stands for Eligible Transitional Home Organization Tax Credits, you can do the following. And so this is where these are. You can claim a maximum of 50% of your Mississippi income tax liability. You can claim 50% of ad valorem tax liability on real property, and any contributions that exceed these limits can be carried forward for up to 5 years. So that's something that can really make an impact for us here at Palmer Home for our children, and it's also beneficial for your business or for you individually. So as a business, the credit is allowed against income tax, insurance premium tax, and insurance retaliatory tax. For individuals, gifts to Palmer Homes is eligible for up to $2,400 in tax credits for joint filers and $1,200 for single filers. So pretty neat there, but we're able to get some substantial donations through businesses who can benefit from this as well, and they're able to be a larger level gift and a very planned strategic gift on the part of the business. So we love to work with businesses, guide them through the process. We'll apply for the application for them, or we'll work with their wealth managers to see what works best.
And just so you hear that correctly, we're talking tax credit, not tax deduction. Pretty significant difference there. When you talk about a tax deduction, you are talking about lowering your amount of taxable income. When you're talking about a tax credit, you're talking about the money you owe and this credit going directly against it. So let me make sure that I understand this correctly. If I have a $10,000 bill with the state government for a business tax, I can take a credit of up to $5,000 of that $10,000. And so if I'm going to have to pay the money regardless, I can choose to pay $5,000 of that toward Palmer Home. The other $5,000 will go to the state, and I'm all square.
That's exactly how that works.
Okay.
And it's so easy for people to do. It makes sense for a lot of businesses. We'll have people who say they work with their accountants, they find out what their property taxes are for the year, and then they make that donation based on that amount. They apply they submit the application online. We help them. Me personally, I can walk you through the application process. I can apply for a business if that's what they're interested in. I can apply for an individual if they'd like that. We know it. We know exactly how to do it. We also know that these applications open up on January 2nd for the following year. So say 2026's applications will open up on January 2nd, 8 a.m. That is very strict, by the way. We have learned that through trial and error over the years. So that's when that 2026 opens up. However, what we want to emphasize for our businesses who may have just heard about this year, it is not too late to make that donation through Children's Promise Act, because there are tax credits still available, both through ECO and ETHO. And it sounds very confusing, but once you actually see the application online on the DOR website, you kind of understand it a little better. But if you don't, I can walk you through it. There's no problem. Or I can work with your CPA, find out what number you would like to donate that benefits you from a tax standpoint, and we can take it from there to make it easy on you. But there are still credits available, and if you go to apply and you find out there's not one under, say, the ECO tax credits, check the ETHO tax credits, because more than likely there's still tax credits available in that bucket. So it's kind of there's an allotment.
There are options.
That's right. Yes, and if one's out, then there may still be some allotted in another bucket.
And we recognize that this is kind of high-level, HR, CPA, accounting office type things, but it's something that we want to make sure that you know about because it can be beneficial for you, for your business, for your employees, but also beneficial for Palmer Home for Children. Best way to learn more about this, if something Madison has said has piqued your curiosity, go to the Palmer Home website, palmerhome.org. You can find her contact information. You can find the phone number for Palmer Home. Reach out. Tell them you'd like to talk to Madison about some of business accounting stuff, and she will work with you. Far more simple, by the way. You just want to donate today. supertalk.fm. supertalk.fm/palmerhome. You can go to 662-469-5533. That's the number you call if you want to talk to somebody to make a donation. You want us to send you a link via text so that you can donate online on your phone. Just send the text SuperTalk to 50155. Madison, thanks as always. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Richard. Thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. It is certainly a great day. It's a great day because of all of you who are listening, those of you who are donating, just shy of $4,000 right now. Those donations continuing to come in. Thank you, and please keep it up. It's the 13th annual Palmer Home for Children SuperTalk Mississippi Radiothon. We're going to take a quick time out. We got more coming up with you as we wrap up the 7 o'clock hour next.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
You're listening to the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/palmerhome to help rescue and restore a child in need. Now, here's more.
For several years now, our friends at Strange Brew Coffee have partnered on Radiothon Day. They say every child deserves a safe place to grow, and today your coffee can help make that happen. You can stop by Strange Brew, Churn and Spoon, or Brupolo, which is the Tupelo location of Strange Brew, and 15% of all sales today, including online sales, will support the mission for Palmer Home for Children. So if you go and you buy a cup of coffee or coffee to go or whatever it is, let's just say that I need to say $10 so I can do the easy math. If you've got a $10 purchase at Strange Brew, $1.50 today is going to Palmer Home for Children. So all sales at Strange Brew, Churn and Spoon, and Brupolo, 15% of those sales today will go toward Radiothon here at Palmer Home for Children. Glad to be with you this morning. This is it's a fun day for us. We right now are sitting just below the $4,000 mark, but we remind you that all of your donations through the next $5,000 are matched dollar for dollar by How to BBQ Right. That's Malcolm Reed and his wife contributing to Palmer Home, a $5,000 matching donation. And if you sign up today for a monthly donation, then you will receive some of Malcolm's seasoning. It'll be sent to you along with a barbecue chicken recipe that you are going to love. I'll just tell you, and I think pretty much everybody else that has ever tasted Malcolm's food will agree, if you try his stuff, you're going to love it. And his recipes are really easy to follow. There's probably a video that goes along with the recipe card that you can check out and make sure you're doing it just right. Trey was a young guy who came to Palmer Home, and he came with from a family in which nobody had ever even graduated high school. Trey is going to be the first from his family to graduate high school. So a significant accomplishment there. Recently turned 18 and has moved into the transitional living program. And the caseworkers are working with him to help him try to reach his dreams of becoming a realtor, a real estate agent. We had a donation earlier today from a realtor in Mississippi who encouraged everybody else in the real estate community, whether you are an agent or a broker or an appraiser, to make a donation today as well. And maybe that's making an impact. It's definitely making an impact because you're seeing young people like Trey, who has been part of the Palmer Home family, who wants to be part of your field of work going forward. And it's really cool. One of the things as we go throughout the day and you hear from some of the kids who live here at Palmer Home, they have become familiar to you because they have been here for a long, long time. Through most of their lives growing up, they have called Palmer Home their home. And we've had a chance to watch them grow physically, but also grow in terms of maturity. We've gotten to share in and celebrate some of their accomplishments along the way. And that's been one of the really rewarding things that happens. So the transitional care program is something that we will talk more about, but that's the point in life where kids are graduating high school and they're trying to figure out what's next. And maybe they've got a support system outside of Palmer Home, or maybe Palmer Home is their support system. But you've got caseworkers that are part of the transitional program that their role is to help young people who are moving to that next phase of life make that transition and make it as smoothly as possible. If you think back, if I think back to when you were 17, 18 years old and you were either getting ready for college or you were getting ready to go to work or go to community college, or maybe you were getting ready to join the military, you were learning how to be an adult. And there were things that were basic and there were things that were more complicated and you had questions. That's what the transitional care program provides for these young people as they make the next step in their life. Just one of the good things that's happening here at Palmer Home for Children. We're based in Hernando. That's where the campus is today. But tentacles that reach all over the state of Mississippi and beyond. You can make a donation by calling today, 662-469-5533, 662-469-5533. SuperTalk.fm/Palmer Home is the website. You can go there and you can make an online donation. If Venmo is easiest for you, just send it to @PalmerHome-4Children. Maybe you're one of Gerard's golf buddies or one of my golf buddies, and you got a little bit of a positive balance in the Venmo account. Can't think of a better place to send at least part of that balance than to Palmer Home. @PalmerHome-4Children to make a donation on Venmo. We got more to talk about with you. Drake Bassett going to sit down and join us to start the 8 o'clock hour coming up in just a few minutes. Got that $5,000 matching donation from Malcolm Reed. We want to take full advantage of that. We've got your donations coming in as well. You want to talk to us, communicate with us, you can do so on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395, 601-879-4395. That's the C Spire text line. Thanks for being with us. It's the 13th annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon on Super Talk Mississippi.
You're listening to the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on Super Talk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome to help rescue and restore a child in need. And now with more, here's Richard Cross.
Welcome to the 8 o'clock hour of Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi. Today is Radiothon Day. It's the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon, 13th consecutive year that we have done this on Super Talk Mississippi, and we are glad to be with you. Our board right now says $3,831.60, which I'm just going to be completely honest with you is inadequate at this point of the day. Just being candid. But I am told that an update is coming here in just the next minute or so. So hopefully that number is going to grow significantly. You can help us grow that number. That eraser is a good sign right there. You can help us grow that number throughout the course of the day by making a donation. There are lots of ways that you can do that. You can go to our website, supertalk.fm/PalmerHome, supertalk.fm/PalmerHome. You can call us at 662-469-5533. If you're driving and you don't want to do it on your phone or at the computer, you can talk to somebody, give them your credit card or debit card information. Text SuperTalk to 50155, and we'll send you a link. That looks a whole lot better. A $13,000 jump is exactly what I wanted to see. So $16,000 and change right now. That feels a whole lot better than just short of $4,000.
Every one of those dollars matter.
Have we got his mic on? Drake's mic. There we go.
There we are.
Now you're going to hear his voice.
Glad to connect.
Drake Bassett. He is the CEO here at Palmer Home for Children. How many years have you been here now?
Let's see. It'll be 14 in February.
Okay.
So we're tracking pretty close with the Radiothon.
Yeah, you've been part of all 13 Radiothons, and you've had a chance, Drake, to see a lot of growth with Palmer Home itself, with the way that this place operates, but also you've seen growth within kids who have been affected positively by the work that's happening here.
Yeah, no doubt. It's wonderful to have a great legacy in terms of time. We've been here for 130 years. We've been here since 1895, and I love history. You like history. There are things to and over the years I've had a chance to just dig into more and more of the history of Palmer Home. So many people, so many families, business leaders, politicians, all that kind of stuff. But not just in one decade. I mean, every decade. So Palmer Home's been growing and changing and thriving. And I think in these past 10 years, we've responded to some of the demands of culture. When there's pressure on families, when there's pressure on young people, some of the difficulties emerge, and children absorb that. And so we want Palmer Home to be completely true to its original values, our commitment to faith, our commitment to work, and our commitment to teaching children, the skills that they need for life. All of those things are unchanged.
Right.
But as the world's changed, it's important that we are nimble and that we can coach and teach and help kids overcome some of the things that are true about 2025, not 1895.
Yeah. There are not many organizations or businesses or certainly people that have been around for 130 years. And to me, an organization that lasts that long has proven that they're going to be here, that they're going to continue a legacy. And you don't last that long if you're not good at what you do. And so I'm not saying that to pat you on the back, but clearly
appreciate that.
Lives have been changed over and over and over for this place to have been serving the needs of children for as long as Palmer Home has.
Well, I'll receive those kind words for a lot of people. I think about the fact that we are a faith-oriented organization, so I think there's nobody who's a part of where we are today that wonders for a second, does God watch over Palmer Home? We believe that's the case, and otherwise we couldn't have done what we've been able to do and be here for that long. But I'm also going to give a shout out to the faithful people who've led this organization, people who've been in my seat in previous decades, and also the board. I mean, the board is often unseen and quiet. Now, they're very visible today, and they're going to donate, and we love that. But, they do a lot of work behind the scenes that reflects I think the true commitment of people who see what Palmer Home has been, but they also see what Palmer Home can be. So I think about all the people over the years who've been a part of leading Palmer Home, and I'm just really grateful that we're able to be at this particular point today. Certainly in this new building that we built a couple of years ago, I think that's a reflection of our commitment. And it's also, long after we're gone, this building's going to be here.
That's right.
And it'll be serving children.
Let's talk just a little bit more about that, because there are a lot of people that work really, really hard to create this space that absolutely feels like a home and has so many things that help kids feel more at home, whether it's the gym or the pool out back or the homes themselves in which the people live. We had a chance to visit with Dana this morning. Her story and her family story is incredible, and the commitment that they have made in serving the children here at Palmer Home as house parents, and so many others that have done that as well.
I think it's a special calling for people who want to be in house parent roles. But all of our staff, we talk here amongst ourselves. We say nobody comes to Palmer Home by accident. You come with an intention. You come with intention to serve. You come with a heart. And we're blessed with great people. And I think one of the reasons, we talk about 130 years. One of the reasons why Palmer Home has been able to do what it does for 130 years is we want to be a winner, and we attract winners. We have wonderful people who come here to work, and they bring their passion. They bring their character, and they also bring their skill set. And so we believe that when we tell people, hey, if a child needs to come here, we believe that all those things are going to come into play for a child's well-being, which is why, just as we were starting this show, I told you there's a young lady that came through here yesterday. She graduated high school this year, first in her family. She's going off to college in the fall, first in her family to do that, and we're thrilled for her. But she swung by yesterday because she had a brand new car, not a brand new car
new to her.
That's right, but she'd saved her money, and she got out and bought a car that's reliable, and she wanted to show it off, and it was fun. And I was just thinking to myself, man, look at the transformation. Just look at where she was when she got here. Now look what she's doing, and we're just all excited for her. Okay, that's what Palmer Home's been doing for 130 years in so many different ways, and there's so many people who've benefited from it. And we salute and thank all the people across Mississippi, because Mississippi has carried Palmer Home, and provided for it.
And one of the things that Drake and I were talking about earlier, I'm sorry, not Drake? Madison. Sorry.
We get tangled up. She's Madison, I'm Drake, but she's a Drake too. So it's kind of strange.
There we go. That Madison and I were talking about that has been so cool about the last 13 years is it's not just one part of the state. It's not just the Golden Triangle when Columbus was the headquarters, or DeSoto County now that Hernando is the headquarters. It's people in Oxford and Hattiesburg and Gulfport and Gaucher and big towns and small towns. Right. And I shouldn't start naming towns. I was trying to.
Somebody's going to call you and say, hey.
In Corinth and Iuka and Grenada. Can we name all of the towns? And the point is, all of the different regions of the state of Mississippi have pitched in and have been a part of this, making it a true Mississippi.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and I really believe that. And it's been a real pleasure for me over these 13 years to be able to go to sometimes, of course, our major cities, Oxford, Jackson, all that. But, man, I've been to a lot of small towns where you meet some incredible people who are just doing their part quietly. Yeah. And they're serving us, and they're serving God in their minds by contributing to this organization. And, when you shake hands with somebody who's just gracious and quiet, but has also put their hands on Palmer Home to say, I want to be a part of that together. Well, there's no greater thrill for me. Then that tells me it is all over the state. It's on the coast. It's up north. It's everywhere. And we hear from everybody. We obviously hear from people across the country, too. But at our core, this is a Mississippi organization.
Well, and one of the things, and we've always tried to emphasize this, the dollar amount is less important than the act of giving. And so if you're in a place where it's a $5 donation or a $25 donation, we are incredibly grateful for that. But perhaps you are in a different place financially, and you've got the resources to really make a transformational gift. Those are welcome. And we've seen that happen.
Yes, we have.
And one of the cool things has been we've seen some of that happen organically. There are people who have learned about Palmer Home because of Radiothon in different parts of the state of Mississippi, and have been touched by some of the stories and have said, you know what, I've been blessed, and I want to bless others.
Man, I think that's one of the best parts because, every day is the day. We got an opportunity to go to work. Lord willing, we've got an opportunity to, help our family be a part of things. But on Radiothon Day, we stop and we talk about stories of change. And I think in our hearts, in our minds, the way we're designed, we're created to be givers. And these stories bring that to mind for people. And so we've heard of people pulling off the road saying, I'd never heard of this before, but I'm glad you guys are changing lives. Here's $25, and calling in with their credit card, or calling in later, or sending it in. So a big shout out to all those people.
We say amen.
Amen, and thank you.
SuperTalk.fm/Palmer Home. If you want to give online, you're going to hear from Drake throughout the course of the day today. You can call in and donate over the phone at 662-469-5533. We'll be here until 6 o'clock tonight. You got plenty of time, but you don't have to wait. over $16,000. That number going to continue to grow. It's the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon on SuperTalk Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass Trap.
You're listening to the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome to help rescue and restore a child in need. Now, here's more.
You know, if you were with us earlier this morning when Malcolm was on, he said, hey, do us a favor and text a friend today and tell them about Radiothon and tell them about Palmer Home and what's going on. I decided that I would take Malcolm's advice. I've got a group of buddies that I play golf with on a fairly regular basis, and I just shot him a simple message, and I said, hey, if any of you feel inclined to give today, we've got our Palmer Home for Children Radiothon going on. Here's the link. You can go online and donate. And some of the guys have done that. And I am very, very appreciative of that. And I would encourage you to do the same thing. Most of us have got some sort of a group text, right? It's guys you went to college with, girls that you stay in touch with. My wife's got a group text with some of her closest friends from college. Most all of us have at least one of those. Shoot a message out to your group text and say, hey, Super Talk's doing this Radiothon thing today. Maybe you know about Palmer Home. Maybe you don't know about Palmer Home. They're a great organization. You can listen to what they're talking about and learn a little bit more, or you just hit the link and make a donation. And any I've got another group text that somebody just said, hey, send us the link too, Richard. So I will do that as well. I will also tell you, and I'm not going to go into any detail on this yet, but I will tell you, based on some messages that we have gotten on the C Spire text line this morning, that there are some really significant things that are in the works as well. And I am, when we get off the air this morning, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to offer up a prayer that some of the individuals that are texting us, talking about some planning and working with accountants, will get the answers that they are hoping for, and we'll be able to share more of that information with you coming up a little bit later. So we're going to do that throughout the day. I want to remind you the ways that you can give. supertalk.fm/PalmerHome or 662-469 5533. Again, 662-469-5533. If Venmo is your preferred method of payment, you can go to @PalmerHome-for-Children, or you can text SuperTalk to 50155. That's 50155. A couple of friends we want to remind you about. Strange Brew Coffee is donating 15% of all sales today, including online sales, to the Radiothon. And so if you are at Strange Brew, the original location in Starkville, Churn and Spoon, or Brupolo, whether you're getting coffee or ice cream or one of those, fancy iced mocha, matcha, latte, etc. I know I sounded old when I just said that. All of those purchases are going to go to help the work here. We also think our friends at Coffee Central in South Haven voted best coffee in DeSoto for their work today. They've got the location on Getwell in South Haven. A lot of great stuff going on, and we welcome our next guest. I'm sorry, I don't have my lineup in front of me. Please tell me your name.
Teo.
All right, we got Teo's mic on. I just wanted to make sure that I was pronouncing it correctly. Teo Ride is a Palmer Home volunteer music teacher.
Yes.
What all does that involve?
Well, it involves getting the kids introduced.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to move your mic just a little bit closer so everybody can hear. There we go.
It gets the kids introduced to music, to take the fear of, I want to play an instrument, to the point where I'm playing an instrument and I'm having a good time.
That's incredible. It's cool to see kids develop their musical talents.
Yes.
But also to see them go from starting from scratch, whether it's playing the piano or guitar or violin or the flute or whatever it is, and then see them grow.
Yes.
And sometimes there's some uncomfortable things you have to listen to along the way, but to see them get to that point where they've got the confidence to sit down and play a song or be part of a group, whether
Yes.
it's a band or like a marching band or a different type band, it really is rewarding to see that growth.
Well, I started playing instruments when I was 8 years old, and the first step into introducing a child to music is help them realize that they have the talent already. And all we're doing is showing it to them. And we do everything. We start off just with ukuleles, and I've taught them how to tune their own ukuleles.
Okay.
We've given a performance already. We do handbells.
Okay.
We do songs with just hand motions and sing. We get up and dance. I know when you're 66 and you're getting up and dance with 8-year-olds,
that may be a great way to connect with kids.
Exactly. And I give them 3 things I tell them I want them to do. So the first thing in a room when you're sharing your musical talents and your introduction to talking to other people through music is you have to smile. The second step is I want you to sing. And the last thing I want you to do is play the instrument.
Okay.
I said, but all that will come natural. And you would just see them blossom. And when I get there, it is the fastest hour of the week for me. And the kids tell me that this is the best hour of the week for them. There is no test.
Well, that's a good start.
That's a good start. There is no test. And then also, I prove to them that the joy they get from sharing their music builds every week. And they can share it with other people. And everything that we get in the way of instruments, I said, these are yours. Music stands, all the music books, ukuleles, handbells. When they actually graduate, all that's theirs. It's not mine.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. Is the ukulele a good bridge to playing a guitar?
Yes, it is a very good bridge because what I show them is that if you follow the principles I give them with the ukulele, it goes to the guitar. You can go to the bass, violin, upright bass, all these different stringed instruments. And I said, I'll bring them in. I brought in a banjo ukulele, and I said, your turn, you get to play this. I've never played this a day in my life. Mr. Taylor said, play it just like you did the ukulele. And they're like, what? And so that makes them really excited. So every 2 weeks I bring a different instrument in for them to try out.
One of the things, Lance gives me a hard time sometimes. Lance, you pipe in if you want to about my musical taste because we're divergent. He was talking passionately yesterday about the Grateful Dead. He makes fun of me for liking Broadway music, but, it's across the board for me with whether it's country or classic rock or, Broadway or whatever. But there's music has the ability to connect with people in a way that sometimes words don't.
Exactly. And I encourage the kids to bring a song. Tell me a song that you want to do, and then we will work it up, and then we will sing it. And they're amazed because I break it down. I said, it's very simple. I said, if you can sing it, we can play it.
That's incredible. It really, really is. One of the things that we talked earlier this morning, we have launched the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund to help fund the extracurricular activities for some of the kids, which includes music. I mean, you've got kids that I'm assuming graduate from that hour a week that you're doing where you're working with them to perhaps they're taking piano lessons or guitar lessons on a more consistent basis.
I have some friends at church who will offer guitar after school. I do it during they're in school.
Okay.
So, but we are buying guitars. If a child says, I want to learn this instrument, if I can get it for them, I'll get it for them.
That's fantastic.
So
it really certainly is a cool thing, and it kind of speaks to the well-rounded nature that we're talking about. When we talk about the work that's happening at Palmer Home, it's that whole child initiative, and the things that they're interested in are part of that.
Exactly. I mean, they.
How'd you first get involved? How'd you first get involved with Palmer Home?
I was on the square, you heard Anna Square, and I saw Annabelle, and she had the booth for Palmer Home, and I told Anna, she goes to my church, and I said, you know what your Palmer Home really needs is a ukulele class. And I said, I will, yeah, that's
okay.
Cool. And she says, okay, well, who's going to teach you? I said, I'll teach you.
Okay.
And it went from there, and then I told people what I wanted to do. We got ukuleles, we got in there, you know, it was very exciting, and it's still exciting every week. You know, if I see the kids out in town or out and about, they just run up to me. My wife says, "Those kids love you."
Well, that's fantastic that you've been able to connect with these kids by taking your talents and sharing them with them. And that's one of the things that we talked about. We talk about time, talent, and treasure. And there are multiple ways that you can get involved with Palmer Home for Children. Teo, thanks so much for coming by.
Yes.
Great to meet you, and thanks for the work you're doing with the boys and girls here at Palmer Home.
Thank you.
We got more coming up with you. It's the 13th annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon right here on SuperTalk Mississippi. You can donate online at supertalk.fm/PalmerHome or give us a call at 662-469-5533. Much more coming up. Got about half an hour left on mornings. Then we'll hand things off to Gerard. Rebecca will be along this afternoon, and then we'll wrap up the day with Sports Talk Mississippi. All part of the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
From the SuperTalk.com.
You're listening to the Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on Super Talk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome to help rescue and restore a child in need. Now, here's more.
A little less than half an hour left during the start of today's Radiothon, the first 3-hour block for Mornings with Richard Cross. We are sitting at $16,121.60. But here comes the eraser, which means that number is about to grow. And we're excited to grow with you throughout the course of the day. We've got some fun surprises that are coming along, and we want you to be a part of this special day. It's the 13th annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon on SuperTalk Mississippi. Online, you can make a donation at supertalk.fm/PalmerHome. You can also call in 662-469-5533. Throughout the day, we're going to visit with some of the staff members that are here at Palmer Home on a daily basis. Anna Brooke Warren is Vice President of Compliance, and she joins us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Teo mentioned you just a second ago. He said he bumped into you on the square at a booth in Hernando and said, hey, we should have a ukulele class. And you were like, well, okay, who's going to teach that? And he said, I'll do it.
That's it. That's right.
It's really cool to see people connect. Your role is an important one when you talk about compliance. When you have a place that is a home for children, there are a lot of rules and there are a lot of regulations that are in place, and thank God there are, because it makes sure that children are being taken care of in the right way. There's a lot on your plate, isn't there?
Oh yeah, it's always busy, and we do have a lot of rules and regulations, and a lot of people don't know that we are governed by the Department of Health here in Mississippi. So we follow that and make sure that we're checking all the boxes and doing that daily, and they come in yearly and audit us, so we need to be sure that we're ready for that every year. And we've even signed up now to try to get national accreditation through the Council on Accreditation. So we're in the middle of that process, so we're welcoming people to come in and look at what we're doing and make sure we're doing it well and doing it right.
How complicated is that process to get national accreditation?
Yeah, it's honestly about a 2-year process to get there, and we're about a year into it. So we're hoping by the spring we have that stamp of approval. So we've been working hard towards that.
After 130 years of success, it feels like national accreditation makes a lot of sense. This has been going on for a long time. But even though it's been going on for a long time, one of the things that we know is each case is unique. And the things that happened in 1895 are different from the things that happened in 1965, and certainly different from some of what you're dealing with in 2025. Anna Brooke, I know part of what you do is the onboarding process or the intake process. And I am guessing that there are parts of that are gut-wrenching and heartbreaking, but parts of it that are also incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, we do have a very structured intake process here, and so we pride ourselves on that, and helping all the families that call in and being able to take children in when we can, and we get a lot of calls, and we get a lot of calls of children that we can take, and we love to get them here and work with them. We get a lot of calls for people just needing some help and some help finding resources and things in the community, and we also assist with that too. We recently, one of our most recent calls, was a young mom who just was struggling with housing. She loved her children, small children, had been with her, and she was on her own, and she needed, she was looking for a place to stay. And so just taking those calls and being able to offer support and allowing those children to, to come here and stay while that mom gets on her feet is just awesome to watch that process.
One of the things that Drake has talked about is the ultimate goal for Palmer Home is restoration. It's not always possible. We recognize that it doesn't always work that way. But this is not something where you get a phone call and the first thought is, how can we keep these kids at Palmer Home forever? It's about trying to mend families and make sure that loving homes are available. How do you balance that with recognizing that there's a child and say, hey, this may be a longer-term situation, and this is somebody that we're going to be caring for a while?
Yeah, and that's always our first step is, when they call, it's what can we do for your family? How can we help keep these children in the home with you? And we work through that, and sometimes that's possible, and sometimes it's not. And when it's not, we're here for them. We're here for those children. But that's always the first step, is to see, are there resources out there available for these grandparents or these moms or whoever's calling, and to see if we can connect that first. Because it's always ideal to keep a child in their natural home. So that is our priority. But again, when it's just not possible, they need a little more time. Palmer Home's here. We take them in. They stay here. Ideally, we would love to see children be here 18 to 24 months, and their home situation get made better, and they're able to go back. Sometimes that doesn't happen, and they are here for a really long time. But we also have our...
And they're kids that we've seen. I mean, I've mentioned this earlier, but this is the 13th year. And so they're kids that were 5, 6 years old, 3 or 4 years old when we started doing this, that we have had the joy of watching grow into young men, young women. And they're almost on the verge of taking that next step where the transitional care becomes a big part of what they need.
That's right, and I've been at Palmer Home now for 7 years. So I tell you, some of the children that were coming through the door when I got here, I'm seeing them in college now. So that's awesome to see that happen too. So even if they can't go back to that natural home, that biological family, Palmer Home's here, and we see them through adulthood.
I'm assuming, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, that at the top of your list is protection and making sure that these kids are protected as they come in. With that in mind, is there a story or a couple of stories that you can share with us about the intake process when you've received and what that looked like, and maybe how it went from a dark situation to a situation that was filled with hope? Yeah, and we work with the state. We're not affiliated with CPS, but we do work with them. We get a lot of calls from them, and the state foster care system is overrun. That's not unique to Mississippi. That's everywhere, and so they get a lot of calls too. And so what we've tried to do is be able to insert ourselves. When we get a call from CPS and they've looked at a family and they say, these children are at risk of entering the state system, can Palmer Home help? And so we can be that emergency placement. So we get a lot of calls from just individuals, from grandparents, that incarcerated parents, they're having some issues, grandparents are trying to step in, they're struggling. So we get those calls, but we also get the ones that it is just a bad home situation for whatever reason, and usually those children would ultimately end up in state custody, but sometimes we can prevent that. One of the things that really struck me, I think it was a couple of years ago, we were talking with Drake on the show, and he talked about a family of children that came in, and it was a cold night and was kind of spitting sleet, spitting snow, and those kids arrived. They didn't have coats on. Maybe one didn't even have shoes. They had like a Kroger sack with like all of their earthly possessions in it.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what it looks like when those children arrive, and how the team at Palmer Home springs into action with things as simple as, all right, we're going to give you this welcome package, and this is a blanket, and it belongs to you. and this is a toothbrush that belongs to you. Explain that for us.
Yeah, and that's what we do. The more information we can get, these children coming in, and sometimes it is an emergency situation like that. Sometimes we have a little more time to work with, but finding out, as soon as possible, what comforts these kids. Do they have that possession? Do they have that thing that they want to bring with them that they need, or it's something that we can go get to make them comfortable? Introducing them to our staff and our people here, and not just strange. We don't want to be strangers, and the sooner that we can make that happen to where we're not strangers anymore, that gives them that comfort.
Tell me about the part of the process where it goes from intake, where there are certain paperwork things that you have to do and processes that you have to go through, to introducing a child who comes in to their house parents and showing them this is where you're going to sleep and this is where you're going to have dinner. What does that look like?
Yeah, and that's we have great case managers, so that's where they come in on the front end of this, and we love to have a few days to work with and make this happen. Sometimes that's not possible. It is a quick turnaround, but yeah, just somebody taking them by the hand and taking them to the home where they're going to be staying, and introducing them to their house parents, to the other children in the home, showing them their beds, showing them the schedule of kind of how we do things around here, and just making that as comfortable as possible. And it's not always easy, but it's super important.
How much of that comfort comes from other kids who are here who can welcome in somebody that's new?
Yeah, that's huge, and that's something that we talk to the children about here. There are going to be other kids to come, and so they're kind of expecting that, and they welcome them. So that's always great to see.
Anna Brooke Warren is Vice President of Compliance here at Palmer Home. I'll give you the chance to do what I try to do with most of our guests. If you're making a plea to somebody that's listening right now that's just kind of learning about Palmer Home, what's the encouragement for them to donate?
Yeah, so Palmer Home is a great place, and like I said, I've been doing this type work for about 20 years now, and so a little over 20 years, and I'm telling my age, and so okay. But yeah, Palmer Home for 7 years, and this place is like no other. It's great. All of the donations that come in, provide for these children. The food, their back to school clothes we're about to go get now. That's
big deal.
People make it possible. So.
Absolutely. It's the SuperTalk Mississippi Palmer Home for Children Radiothon. We've been doing this for over a decade. It's something that's special to us. I hope it's special to you as well. I see Rhino's just gotten here. Gerard will be along before long. The website is supertalk.fm/PalmerHome. We have eclipsed the $20,000 mark. We want to see that number continue to grow. If you want to donate by phone, you can call 662-469-5533. Anna Brooke, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We got more coming up. We'll wrap up mornings right after this on SuperTalk Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass.
The Palmer Home for Children Radiothon here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Go to supertalk.fm/PalmerHome to help rescue and restore a child in need. Now, here's more.
Just a few minutes left in our first segment of the day. That segment being 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Mornings with Richard Cross here on SuperTalk Mississippi. This is the 13th annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon. We are over $20,000, and I think that number might be about to grow just a little bit more before we wrap things up and hand it off to Gerard and Rhino. They are going to be with you from 9 until 1. Rebecca will be in from 1 until 3, and then our Sports Talk Mississippi crew will wrap things up this afternoon from 3 until 6. I will tell you that there are some really exciting things that are on the way as we move throughout the course of the day, and that includes some conversations with some of the kids. They call Palmer home, either currently or in the past, and just a lot of really, really neat stuff going. I want to give you the ways that you can donate again. supertalk.fm/PalmerHome or 662-469-5533. If you want to call in and speak someone, you can give them your information that way. You can use Venmo at PalmerHome-4Children. Or if you want us to text you a link directly, You can just text the word SuperTalk to 50155. That's 50155. Text SuperTalk to that number, 50155. We want to thank again Malcolm Reed with How to Barbecue Right. How to BBQ Right is the website for him. Malcolm and his wife made a $5,000 matching donation, which we have achieved this morning. And a reminder that if you choose either online or over the phone to become a monthly donor to Palmer Home, then you will receive a can of Killer Hogs barbecue rub. And I've got the hot rub right here in front of me. I keep calling, I'm struggling what to call this. It's plastic, so it's not a bottle, because I think of a bottle as glass, but it's not a can either, so it's not a jar. A container? A sprinkle container of the barbecue rub from Malcolm Reed. It is fantastic. I will tell you that. We'll also send you his famous barbecue grilled chicken recipe. You can text us throughout the day on the C Spire text line at 601-879-4395. Again, 601-879-4395. If you reach out to us with a specific question or you're wanting us to contact you, please understand, we will do that, and we'll try and pass all the information along. This may take a little bit because we are live on the air and trying to kind of multitask a little bit. Thomas sent me a message earlier. He said, hey, I'll get you guys in a little bit. I usually wait until Gerard comes on, and he badgers me into giving, so he's going to wait for that. Thomas, we appreciate it. Always appreciate your interaction as well. The other thing that we launched this morning, we did this during the 6 o'clock hour. Maybe you missed it. It's the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund for Palmer Home. Palmer Home was a very, very special place for Paul. We're now just shy of $23,000 as we come toward the end of our time this morning. Palmer Home was very, very special to Paul. He was with us from the very first Radiothon. We lost Paul, our brother in broadcast, our dear friend and colleague, earlier this year. But Paul's legacy will remain here at Palmer Home with the launch of the Palmer Home for Children Paul Gallo Memorial Fund. And if you want to make a donation specifically to that and you call, by the way, the number is 662-469-5533. I'm actually typing that into a text message as we speak. 662-469-5533. You can call in and you can let people know that you want your donation to go in memory of Paul Gallo as part of the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund. Also, and Gerard's going to tell you more about this coming up in just a little while, we have the continuation of the J.T. Williamson Memorial Fund. Two people that were part of this at the very beginning, Palmer Home, touched their hearts greatly. Malcolm mentioned JT when we visited with him earlier this morning and how he was introduced to Palmer Home through SuperTalk and through JT, and that has become a beautiful and a lasting partnership. Not only has Malcolm given financially, but he's also donated his time and great food as well. All right, final update that we are going to give you as we close out Mornings with Richard Cross. $31,552. That is outstanding. There may be some cents on there, but we'll just go with the dollar amount. $31,552.66. That is the number with 3 hours in the books. We've got 9 hours to go. What an incredible start to the day. Not going to lie to you. I was a little bit nervous when we were over an hour into this and it said $3,000 on the board. So I say thank you very much for your generous donations this morning. Let's keep them coming throughout the day. Gerard and Ryan are going to be with you for the next 4 hours. Then it'll be Rebecca, and then we'll come back and run the anchor leg this afternoon with Sports Talk Mississippi from 3 to 6. Supertalk.fm/Palmer Home, 662-469-5533. We love you, and we thank you very much for your generosity for the 13th annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.